All right, folks, we are live here from the Good Eatin in Byram, Mississippi. This is the South 78 Football Show. I'm your host, Trellis Williams, alongside right now Keeson Kendrick of the Terry Bulldogs. Plays DB for the Bulldogs, also serves as the kick returner and the punt returner. We've seen you return a punt for a touchdown here this season. We've also seen this defense look really good so far. So far this season, what have you thought about your team's performance?
I feel like we dominating the teams that we need to dominate, but I feel like we gotta just keep getting better every day at practice, just trusting the game plan that the coach is putting in, just go out there on Fridays and just compete and dominate and do what we do every Friday.
Now, you've been a guy who's been able to just play football well at multiple positions. You've even run a little quarterback as of last year.
Yes, sir.
This year you do a lot more on the defensive side of the ball as well as kick and punt returning. How have you found your groove and your role with this football team?
Really just last year, I didn't really have an opportunity to play as much, so this year when I got out there, I had the opportunity to play. I just go out there and do what I can and just take the opportunity that I got, because it's a lot of people that wish they was in the position that I was in. So I just go out there every day at practice and keep working to get better and just hope to keep improving.
Going into the season, there were a lot of questions about you guys' defense, just given the fact that you lost 9 starters from last year. This defense looked really good. You guys are 6-0 heading into the West Jones game on the road, the position you wanted to be in. Talk about this defense and how you guys started the season and then just the development of this defensive side of the ball.
We just got a great defensive coach who just every day at practice, he watching film, he putting in the game plan, so we just trusting in what he put in, trusting in the game plan. We just going out there and doing what we could do best and having Coach Benson back every Friday.
For sure, and now you head into West Jones to take on the Mustangs there. They're 5-2, started off this season. You guys are 6-0. It's a great opportunity here to put yourselves in the driver's seat in this region, playing a team that Terry's never beaten. Preview that game for us.
Really, we just got to go in with a mindset of they not just going to give us the game. Got to dominate on both sides of the ball. No turnovers on offense. We got to create turnovers on defense and just hope we can just all play together and just have the outcome that we want to come, which is beat West Jones. For sure.
Keeson Kendrick joining us right now. We appreciate him. This is the South 78 Football Show. We got more guests coming on, and we got Coach Chris Thigpen later on. Do want to remind you that this is the Good Eatin, and they bring you this show, the South 78 Football Show, right here from Byram, Mississippi. The Terry Bulldogs will head on the road on Friday night down to Laurel to take on the West Jones Mustangs. And I do want to remind you this, there will be a watch party here at the Good Eatin. If you are not making the trip down to Laurel and you're going to watch this game, stop in here at the Good Eatin. They will have the games on the TVs. They'll even have a projector playing the ball game between Terry and West Jones. You don't want to miss it. We'll step aside and be right back. All right, what's going on, man?
What's up?
So I'm right here with Brady Busby of the Terry Bulldogs. He's the quarterback, the junior quarterback for the team. Brady, man, 6-0 start, exactly where you guys wanted to be heading into this West Jones game on the road. Talk about this team and how you guys have grown over the course of this season and how you guys have been able to continue to win.
We're playing together as a team more, and we're just doing our 1 and 11. Just everybody doing their own assignment, and it just helps us to get to where we're at now.
And talk about this offense. Obviously, the offense was the headline of this team going into the season, and you guys really have not disappointed. You had to play without Rondé for a while. You guys were able to establish the pass game real well. I have noticed the last couple of weeks that you guys are trying to, keep that balance right and just get all that stuff right before you play the biggest competition of the season. Kind of talk about that process of trying to tighten the knobs going into these big games.
Yeah, Um, it's hard to be successful when you only have one running back and he gets hurt, but that's not the case for us because we've got BJ and Cole Reed and a couple other guys, and then it's also hard to be the team that can be successful passing the ball and be successful running the ball, and I feel like we've got both of them.
For sure, you pretty much have all sides of the ball because this defense has really shown up this year, been able to hold opponents as well. Preview this game against West Jones. This is a team that Terry's never beaten. You guys have shared a region with them for 3 seasons, played them 3 times in the first 2 seasons, including a playoff game against them. Kind of preview this game. They're 5-2. They're a good team. You guys are 6-0. It's a great opportunity to be able to put yourselves in the driver's seat in this region.
We can't go into the game thinking, oh, we're going to beat them or, oh, they're going to beat us. It's going to be a dogfight, but I feel like we're going to have to spread the field on them some, and because they play a lot of zone and they play off a lot. So if we like last year, you remember in the second half we went out and empty, and that's when we did the 1st and 45 and all that. So I feel like we'll be able to throw the ball a lot on them.
Definitely. So another thing I wanted to note was you guys played Forest Hill this past week, beat them 24-6. You're up 24-0 at the half. Kind of talk about the second half a little bit because a lot of it was penalties that put you guys in bad position. What have been some things that Coach Thigpen's talked to you guys about since that game on some things that you want to get better from that?
A lot of missed assignments. Like, it's not really the O-line's fault at all, but it's just they were all playing out of position because, you know, where we're missing number 71. Nate was out, or he had gotten hurt or something.
That's right.
So we had – I know we had a 9th grader in, but we also had a younger O-lineman in, and we had to mix some stuff around. So it was just a lot of miss assignments that went down.
For sure, and you got guys that are ready to get better as well. Another thing about this team – since you guys move into these last games of the season, you're 1-0 in region play, looking very good. West Jones is a big opponent. Another thing, too, is that going on the road against West Jones is a different story because that school loves their football team. They're really into football here. So just how ready are you to step into an environment like that?
I can't wait because when we went down there the last time, I was in 9th grade, and I remember just standing there watching the game and being a part of it like, dang, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to play at a field, that being ours or somebody else's, that, like, real packed and just people everywhere.
That's right. Just people sitting around the grass and everything. Brady, we appreciate you joining us. Brady Busby, quarterback for this Terry Bulldogs football team. We'll step aside. We got Coach Chris Thigpen up next.
Perfect timing.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect time. He walks through the door right now. All right, Coach.
I'm ready when you're ready.
I am ready. Folks, we are live from the Good Eatin here in Byram, Mississippi. This is the South 78 Football Show brought to you by Good Eatin. And again, I want to remind you, on Friday night, when the Terry Bulldogs are down in Laurel, if you can't make the trip, you need to come in here to the Good Eatin because we're going to have a watch party here. I say we're going to have a watch party here. I will obviously be down there broadcasting the game. The games will be on the TVs and even have a projector in here. So get on in here, get you some good food, and check out Terry and West Jones, which will be a big ball game. Coach, appreciate you joining us.
I appreciate it, Trellis.
Absolutely. So, Coach, look, you're coming off of a week where you beat Forest Hill. The first half looked very good. You look executing well. 24-0 halftime score. You end up winning 24-6. Kind of talk about some of the things that you took from that second half. We'll start off, I guess, a little bit on a negative note, but just the things that you saw in the second half that you just want to tighten up for this next week.
Well, you know, we moved the ball in the second half. We went back, watched the film. We moved the ball, but, you know, we didn't finish drives. And what I mean by that, we got down there in the red zone and we stalled, and mainly because of penalties. And
Yep.
as a head coach, you never want to blame officials for penalties, but we just got to coach it better. I got to coach it better in the second half. I thought we kind of fell into a slump. Coming off a bye, you want to look really, really sharp, and I thought we did in the first half. Second half, not so much offensively, and then we give up one. We have one little bust on defense, and the guy runs for a long touchdown. So that's definitely something we've been working on this week in practice, making sure that we're coaching everything the right way, that we're meeting with the players about it, we're showing them on the board. We have a walkthrough period, and then we have almost like a slow-paced period, and then we're full speed. And so that's kind of what we did today on offense. We watched film of some of the things we're going to try to do on Friday. I drew it up on the board. We walked through it, had a slow period, then we had some fast team periods where we actually ran the plays live. And so, there's always stuff as a team this part of the year or the season that you got to try to improve on. And that's in every phase of the game, from lining up to executing to blocking, tackling, all the things that you try to execute in the special teams part of the football game. And then, last week, when you go back and look at the stats, our stats look really well, except for the score in the second half. So, like I said, we moved the ball through the air and on the ground. Brady had one of his better games, as far as the number of attempts that we asked him to do. We threw a little bit. We threw some RPOs this week. And so that's a part of offense where I say you got to go to second and third gear within your offense, or second and third option on some plays. So sometimes we have 2 or 3 plays called, on one call. And so the deeper you get in the season, the better teams you play. You got to have those options in your offensive attack.
Definitely. And, Coach, look, first half, the execution looked very good. Very good. And another thing, too, is that you are serving as offensive coordinator as well as head coach. So you're calling plays for this team, and you can see the creativity in your play calling going on. Just like, for instance, on that pass out to Gibson where he tossed it back to Ronde, and you're talking about wide open. Yeah. And those kind of things that we're seeing is good to see offensively. Kind of talk about this execution and the guys and how much better they're getting executing this offense.
Well, offensively, I've coached on both sides of football, so you try to do things on offense that gives the defense problems and issues.
Yep.
And so, or in other words, not just look at it from an offensive standpoint, look at it how it would impact the defense and affect the defense according to their rules within their structure and what they're trying to play. And so we knew that Farseal would see that play. We've kind of gone to that play several times with Gibson, in several games. And,
yep.
I told them that we can practice that. They're probably going to play man on that play, which they did. And I said, hey, if it's a man, you may have to catch it and get the ball out quick. But I also told them, I said, when you toss it, to Runday, all right, guys, when you toss it to Runday, there'll be nobody else out there. And he actually scored on that play. But, again, the officiating said he was out of bounds, which was a bad call. The guy wasn't in position. We end up scoring. But you got to try to have something within your offense to break tendencies. And so, like I said, this week and the following week, you got to try to – the team's going to see your tendencies, the plays you like to run. So you got to find ways to protect them or kind of find some ways to attack the defense that goes against their rules. So, for instance, if, we always say defensive ends, when the tackle and the guard pulls the opposite way, most defensive ends will have to squeeze in closer to the ball so they don't get kicked out. And so, you just got to have little things to try to neutralize defenders, whether it's a hitch and go. If you play in a corner, he's really, really aggressive coming up on short passes. You may can double move him and get behind the defense. And so you just try to find ways, from an offensive standpoint to do that. And then the execution part, I just kind of go back to trying not to add too much stuff, but find ways to execute the plays that you have in your arsenal and that is your bread and butter plays. Do it better, find ways to do it better. So, in our run game, it's Rondé Baker. Cole Reed comes in sometimes. Brandon Duplessis comes in. And, all three of those guys can run the football the way we want them to run it.
Yeah.
And so I go at it from a standpoint, I don't have to ask my quarterback to get in the run game on offense as much because you got Rondé. If Rondé out, you got Brandon. If Brandon's not in there, you got Cole. So, yeah, and you may see another guy this Friday, so you just never know.
Yeah, you never know. Coach, you're in the exact position you wanted to be going into the season.
That's right.
Going into West Jones, if we would have told you that 6-0 going into West Jones, you'd be like, oh, awesome.
That's
All right, good
That's
deal.
Right.
Coach, you guys, the Terry Bulldogs are the only undefeated team in 6A, which is a very good spot to be in as well. But you're taking on a West Jones team, and that environment is something else.
Right.
There are people everywhere. They love their football team. They still have a lot. Like their season is ahead of them as well.
That's right.
They're 5-2 on the season, and they're ready to go. Kind of preview that game for us because as a team Terry's never beaten before. You guys really gave them a run for their money in their state championship season, which was 2 years ago. It's a great program. Preview this game for us.
Well, it's kind of what I told the team on Monday as far as the history. We've played them 5 times, and we're 0-5 against them. And so we did come close in 23. We probably played them closer the last 2 years than we did at any other point in our history in football. And so, but what a lot of people don't know about West Jones is that in 2002, which was my sophomore year in high school, they were average at best before them all the 90s. And my high school used to play them the first, second game of the season, and they would always beat them. And, a coach came in by the name of Scott Pearson, completely changed it around. And a lot of things that they started doing in 02 with the spread offense and the 4-3 defense, they still play that now. Even in 2025, it's been something that has worked for them. And I know Coach Reynolds is the head coach there, and they're spread, but they want to run power and counter on offense.
Yeah.
They throw a little quick game, but and they have a really good receiver, which they didn't have last year at that play. They have their quarterback back. This guy's a 3-year starter. He can throw it. He can run it.
State champion as a freshman.
As a freshman, he's probably the fastest guy on offense. Their backup running back, who played last year, offense and defense, is now the main guy at running back, who's really explosive. So they're still very much in the hunt. They may not be the team they were in 23, but they're a really good football team. They're going to be coached well. Cecil Hicks is a long-time defensive coordinator. He's a guy that been a head coach before. Back when I was in high school, he was head coach at Bay Springs High School. He was a head coach also at South Jones. So they have a really good offensive line coach, a guy who I worked with also in the All-Star game. And so, but these are the kind of teams and games that you want to play. You want to be able to say you can go on the road and go toe for toe with this team. And so my message to our team is that, hey, it's like a heavyweight fight. Don't expect it to be over, in the first 3 rounds. You may have to go 15 rounds or however long it takes, to get the win and play well. And so we have a really good chance. I like how we match up against them. On defense, they're going to be where they're supposed to be. Those guys are going to execute. And so it's a matter of us offensively, doing all the little things well. But one thing that has been concerning to me is the penalties we've had.
Yeah.
And so you just kind of never know. Now, we've been mainly in the metro.
Yeah.
We played one game in Southwest Mississippi at Southwest against North Pike. Now we're going down to the Laurel Hattiesburg Association as far as officiating. And so hopefully, we'll get a really good crew, and we'll be ready to play on Friday from a mental standpoint, but also an execution standpoint.
Yeah, and so, look, that game will be on Friday night at 7 live here on the TSJW Network. But if you can make the trip, you got to get on down there because West Jones going to bring the crowd. They're going to bring the crowd, and they always do. Coach, I do want to ask you as well, any updates on players coming back? I know that the big goal was to have everybody back and all hands on deck for this game. Is this going according to plan at the moment?
Yeah, we'll have everybody back and as healthy as can be, going into this game, and as you said, when we looked at our schedule in the summer and we was like, okay, we feel good about this game. We don't know about these two. This is where we want to be going into, this week. And, it's been since 2006 since Terry's been 6-0 in football, which is a long time, And I told our coaches this. I said, look, guys, even after Forest Hill, I said, look, man, we're going to enjoy this while we can. This hasn't happened in over almost, 20 years?
Yeah.
And so, we have to kind of understand where we are, as a program. People expect us to win now, some of our own people. But there was a time, Trellis, where on a Friday after the game, we were just trying to keep it close, because we were getting better and we were improving, but we weren't where I knew we could be from a team standpoint and from a player standpoint, from a program standpoint. And we're still trying to push that needle where every year you could say Terry Bulldogs are contending in 6A South.
Definitely, and big thing about 6-0 is you go ahead and knock out the guarantee of a winning record even. You're talking about because the first years, right when you got in here, no winning records for a while. It had been a while since, not quite 2006, but it had been a while since a winning record, and so it's good to see that as well. Coach, we appreciate you joining us.
Yes, sir.
And, folks, Friday night, the Terry Bulldogs will take on the Mustangs of West Jones down in Laurel, Mississippi. This is a big ball game, the biggest for the Bulldogs up to this point. Big region matchup. If you can't make it, show up here to the Good Eatin. And the game will be on and get you some good food as well. I'm Trellis Williams. Right here with me is Coach Chris Thigpen, head coach of the Terry Bulldogs. We'll see you on Friday. We out. All right.